Welcome back everyone to my Let's Play of Zelda 2, The Resurrection of Ganon, a fan-made hack of the original Legend of Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link. Last episode, Bub completed Parapa Palace, and he got his first magic container, which increased his magic from 1 bar to 2. So now he has double the magic, 32 magic points. Each of those squares represents 16 magic points. Help him cast some more spells. Not that we have many spells right now. We just have the shield spell, the fire spell, and then the jump spell. Of course, we'll keep getting more as we progress through the game, but for now, we just gotta make do with those 3. But they're more than enough to help us get through our goal for today, which is the second palace, Midora Palace, which is the Swamp Palace. The main hazards we're going to find here in the Swamp Palace are basically rooms that have been flooded. I guess the water from the swamp seeped in and caused a lot of the terrain to be, unnavigable. So, like I said, we can't go to the left or the right there because, as you can see, it's flooded. And even in rooms where we can progress, sometimes they're going to require some tricky platforming. So, Iron Knuckle, finish him off. Take out these snakes. And then we got a tricky room over here. This bubble can be very annoying. You want to, maybe if you can, try to take him out. But if not, just try to get him behind you. Because if you have him in front of you and you're making a jump, he may bump you and push you into the water. And unfortunately, Bub cannot swim. Which is weird because in reality, rats are very good swimmers. They can tread water for 3 days, they say. It's one of the reasons why they were able to travel the world. You know, they'd get on ships, and even if the ship wrecked, because they could swim so well, they'd often be able to find themselves to shore, to land. So, but I guess, these domesticated rats that we got, like Bub and his brother Bob, they weren't really fans of water. They'd have to go get their baths and they would complain. Although Bob would have to get a lot more baths than Bub, because Bub was the alpha. And unfortunately, in rat society, the alpha rat will often pee on the beta rats to, I guess, establish dominance. And the weird thing was, Bub had an anxiety disorder. So whenever things changed around Bub, he would go back to his establishing hierarchy mode. So he was obviously the alpha the entire time, even at the mouse rescue. But then when I adopted him and he moved into a new house, things changed. So he had to reestablish his dominance over his brother Bob again. And then when they were introduced to his sister, Princess Guinevere, then of course, then a new rat's in the field. He has to reestablish dominance again, and there's a big change in the house. He would get very anxious, and he'd go into peeing phase where he had to just mark everything all over again. When Guinevere passed away, and when my dog Spartacus passed away, big change, because they'd all interact with one another. He'd just get anxious. So he was actually diagnosed with an anxiety disorder. So, a rat with an anxiety disorder. But, it sounds weird, but they're like little people. They all have their own little personalities and little quirks about them. So, all of my guys are all unique in their own little way. What's not too unique is this palace. As you can see, just like Parapa Palace, it's like I said, pretty much the same layout. Some things change, of course, because rooms are flooded, but the overall layout is the same. Take care of this Stalfos monster. Over there, we just wanted to back up a little bit because we don't want to fight the Stalfos monster and the snake at the same time. You'll be ducking to hit the Stalfos monster, and you'll get hit in the head with one of the rocks by the snake. Ooh, we just took hit by that wolf man. And we get a pea bag here. Good thing we got the glove from Parapa Palace. Now we'll get a life increase here. Might as well. We will be a fairy to the right of that elevator. We can fill up our life. But I want to have some full life over here because we got a pretty tough room over here. Mainly because of this guy here. He's really annoying because the AI, or the intelligence of the Iron Knuckle, is basically as you approach them for the blue Iron Knuckles is they back away from you. And this room has that bot dropper. It drops the gumdrops concern the bots there. So you'll be fighting him and you'll be fighting him underneath this dropper. And then if he's still alive, you push him back here, and then that devil's there in the way throwing maces at you. So it's really hazardous. So the best way to deal is just like how I did it, where you will jump over him and then push him over to the right. You can back him up against the step, and as long as you're patient, unlike me, you can take him out pretty easily. I guess I wasn't patient because I know I'm going to get a life refill very shortly here. Like I said, there's that fairy. Poor wolfman over there, he's stuck in that hole forever. Good for Bub though, he managed to outrun that little bubble. Although if it would have hit him, it's okay, because he would have lost some magic, but the fairies, remember, they fill up magic and life in this game. So let's head on down. I got a little moai here, and I do a dumb thing here. For some reason, try to walk over that fire. I was just impatient. I don't know why I did that. Bub does not have the boots of lava walk. They're not even in this game. There's boots of water walk in this game, but not boots of lava walk. They're in Wizards and Warriors. Another interesting game that I played a lot as a kid. I did not own that game, but my cousin did. Warrior Kyros, and you're trying to rescue a whole bunch of princesses. So, from the evil wizard Malcor. All these evil wizards stealing princesses. Reminds me of Message to the Final Boss by Mega Ran. Look it up on YouTube. He's a rapper who kind of does like video games, Node Rap it's called, and one of the songs is called Lessons of the Final Boss, and he's talking about how it's not cool to abduct women. He's like, hey, there's other ways to, if you're looking for a girlfriend, don't abduct them. They're not gonna like you. But, so, I'm not liking these Iron Knuckles, but I'm still gonna head over to the right here, even though I don't have to get some more experience. Take out some more of these Iron Knuckles. Nice though. Sometimes I get a really good pattern, I can take them out really easily. Got a magic jar there. Nice. And I got another magic jar there, so boo. And we don't have the life spell to use it, but even if we did have the life spell is really expensive in this game, so we wouldn't have enough magic to use it. So, pity that guy dropped a pot. I'd like to get the experience points. Speaking of pots, those lion heads from a few rooms back, they're the only enemies that won't drop pots. Like I said, every 6 enemies, small will drop a blue pot or a pea bag. Big enemies, it'll be a red jar or a more expensive pea bag. But those lion heads do not. Maybe because they endlessly spawn, and I guess it would just be too broken to just be able to farm things on them. Of course, other enemies respawn, but you have to walk back and forth a little bit. See, I remember you can walk over 1-tile gaps, so yeah, you wouldn't be able to jump there because those vines are in the way. Remember, you can one tile walk over gaps. So now these dragon heads. Speaking of those lion heads that were like infinite that kept spawning, Those dragon heads may seem like they're infinite because they keep appearing, but there's usually only 2 or 3 to a room, so if you finish them off, you'll be okay. Here we got another guardian here, the blue iron knuckle. I am very impatient and it almost costs me here. So, the good thing, the only thing that saved me is my good old shield spell. Half in damage. A lot of mileage out of that. Won't get mileage if you're very impatient, like I was there. But hey, now we got our second magic container. We now have 3 bars of magic. And we can head over here, luckily, to the fairy forest. Yay! Because I don't think I would be able to survive any encounter in either the plains or the woods or the swamp. There's a nice fairy. Now I still got a little bit of time here, but not enough to really start exploring the eastern continent. So, kind of like what I did with Bonus Bub in my playthrough of the original Legend of Zelda, Zelda 2. I'm just going to go to Death Mountain to gain some experience and to show off the other caves that we didn't wander through. So that we will see every cave and exit here in Death Mountain. So I won't have to do a Bonus Bub video this time. Because the Maze Island Bonus Bub, remember I showed you how that little trick to gain experience with a completed file. Then I showed the caves in Death Mountain and all the caves that I didn't do in Death Mountain, and then the fighting zones in Maze Island. Well, in Maze Island we can we'll see all the fighting zones. So might as well just do this now. Like I said, get some experience. Because like I said, we're going to be heading over to the eastern continent, and the enemies over there are much tougher. So it'd be nice to get, a little bit more experience, maybe another level in the attack, magic, or life. So it's much easier now to navigate Death Mountain with the downward stab and more attack power too, so it won't be as difficult. So like I said, just see up all these other areas. And we won't be able to do Palace 3. Palace 3 is now basically, in the base game, it's basically now the 6th palace. Because, remember I showed off when I was, a few episodes ago, when you go to that old shortcut south of or the passageway south of the King's Tomb, that normally took you to level 3, that 3rd palace. It's blocked off on the right, so there's no way to get to that palace through the cave. So in order to get to that palace, you're going to need the water walk boots. And you don't get them until you get them in the 6th palace in the base game. But that could either be the 3rd or the 4th palace, depending on how you want to go through the palaces on the western, on the eastern continent, I mean. Heal up, take out some of these Octoroks, use our fire spell. I know I said fire is pretty useless, but there's a few occasions where it's useful. So the good thing is it's cheap. It's a real lifesaver in, I was talking about some palaces over to the east there. It's really useful in this one room in Palace 4, the Maze Palace. And this way, more fish enemies. Oh no, not fish. It looks like fish, but instead it's this cave. Up to the top is the way we came when we were going the original way. But yeah, taking the bottom route will take us to this dead end, and you think that forest might hold something because it just looks suspicious. But yeah, there's nothing in there, so. Now we're going to kind of head back to the normal route that we go, which is this way. And what happened when I was going through this the first time. I tried to avoid the bat and got hit by the Dahlia's axe. So now we're pretty much back on track the normal way that we were going. So we won't see anything really new until the end, because rather than backtracking through Death Mountain, what I'll end up doing is I will be, I'll be going the back route and heading across the bridge to head to the graveyard. So I'll show that two-part bridge off. So I'm just going to head over to the upper right, and that'll get us back on the regular path that we normally go on. Get that fairy cave again here with the Octoroks. Fairy has happily respawned. And like I said, we'll be back on the fish cave, and then the Dahlia cave, and then everything is very familiar looking. But that basically concludes all the caves here in Death Mountain. And we'll just see the bridge then on the way back. But yeah, so you got a little extra tour of Death Mountain, and we got a little extra experience. We'll end up getting that 1500 no problem. Donk. Oh man, that was bad. I landed right on the rock. Dahlia's Fall. Much, much easier now that we have such a better attack power. Donk. Getting that 3000 won't be that bad. Once we start getting over to the, like I said, the eastern continent, and the enemies will be tougher, give more experience, and there will start being more pots as well. Those pots tend to be of the 500 point variety. There's a 200 point pot. We've got a few 200s on this side. Now, like I said, things are getting more expensive, so they basically made the pots over on the eastern side. Most of the time they're 500 points. Got to work a little harder to get them than the easier ones, the 50 and the 200s that are over on this side of Hyrule, but we're much more powerful than we were starting off here. As you can see, we're making it through Death Mountain much, much easier. Fill up. I can use some magic because it doesn't matter, because we're going to get this red pot at the end here. Fill up us entirely. Now we're going to take this back route. Like I said, if you wanted to go short route, you can go this way. Now there's less, going to get the hammer, but you miss out on a lot of juicy experience. So I prefer to go the long route, just power myself up a little bit. That cave can be a little tricky. They like to put, you'll see in the future palaces, they like to put Octoroks in places where you're going to be doing jumping, in the hopes that when you jump and the Octorok shoots a rock and pushes you back into the water. We got a Dahlia on the bridge. Luckily we don't have any red ones like in the base game. But red ain't too bad with the guard spell now, because like I said, it has the double, it acts as guard, and the shield spell and the reflect spell. Just gotta avoid some bubbles. Speaking of bubbles, that's where we got Bub and Bob from. Bub and Bob were the two heroes in Bubble Bobble. Very popular, family-friendly, fun type game. Now we got the raft. We're gonna head over to the eastern continent, and that's what we're going to pick up in our next episode. Take care, have a good day. Thanks for following along. Bye.